Hello guys, it's Robbie here and welcome to this new recap where I'm going to break down the trade that I took yesterday on EURUSD. And let's start everything with the markups. And as you can see, this markup has been made by Martzard on yesterday before London session. So what can we identify at this point? Well, price technically broken below the last recent 15-minute extreme demand area, as you can see with this clearly volume candles to the downside, but on the other hand, it wasn't 100% convinced that it was a break, because after the sweep of this really nice amount of liquidity pool right here, price has immediately reversed to the upside, and technically we could expect the continuation to the upside and actually the reversal to the upside. So yeah, even though it's look like it's a break, it wasn't that we wouldn't be sure about that because of the instant reversal to the upside with really nice volume push. So yeah, and also price has grabbed really nice amount of liquidity from this region. As you can see, there was clearly triple bottoms which has been swept out with this movement, and at this point when price were around here, we wasn't 100% sure about that it was a sweep or a break. So that's all about the forward markup. And let's take a look on the 15-minute. What has happened? Well, technically on the 15-minute time frame, somewhere around here, we had a swing break of structure to the downside. And on the forward time frame, technically this movement was the liquidity sweeping movement. As you can see, price reacted on the last recent 15-minute valuable supply area, and technically it has broken above, but at this point, once again, it wasn't that clear break, because after the sweep of this liquidity right here, technically price has reversed to the downside, change character here, and after that price has just started to create a break of structures to the downside. And also we can't really identify any valuable demand at this point. Probably there was a 5-minute demand, but on the 15-minute time frame we can't really identify any valuable demand at this point. The only valuable demand was this extreme 15-minute demand, which has started this really nice bullish push to the upside, bullish movement that has caused 15-minute change of character on these areas, these highs right here. So yeah, and as you can see, these were my possible scenarios. So price has reacted on the last recent 15-minute supply area that has caused the break of structure. And after that, I was expecting a new break of structure to the downside. If it happened, we could look for confirmation entries down, and we could target this extreme 15-minute demand in this case. If price mitigated this extreme 15-minute demand, we could look for longs, or if a flip happens on this extreme 15-minute demand, we were expecting further continuations to the downside. However, if a breakout structure did not happen right here, then I would wait for a confirmation entry on this supply area that has caused a change of character on several places. So a confirmation entry on this supply area would be perfectly fine. Or if a flip happened on this supply area, then technically it would confirm that this was a clear break, and we could expect longer term longs after the flip of this supply. So technically these were the plans that I was looking for in this session. And let's take a look on the real trading view. And as you can see, the breakout structure has happened to the downside, and I have marked out several supply areas. This was the 15-minute supply which has initiated the structure breaking movement to the downside, and also we can identify a really small pullback here, and after that price has made a really nice bearish candle which has been made by news. And after this news candle, technically price reacted on 5-minute demand right here. Some of you has executed long after this demand mitigation, and technically it was a valid long opportunity. However, I was looking for shorts, and I was really expecting the mitigation of this extreme 15-minute demand, even though price mitigated the 5-minute zone right here. This 5-minute zone has caused the 5-minute change of character here and also flipped the supply at this point. So technically this was a valid and valuable 5-minute demand area, but I was focused on the short side, and I was really expecting the mitigation of this extreme 15-minute demand. As you can see, I have used the 5-minute supply at this point, which has caused the breakout structure after the small pullback to the upside. But on the 15-minute time frame, technically there was a really small pullback. Actually, it was a stop in the market. And also this 5-minute supply that I have marked on the 5-minute time frame is the refinement of this candle, which has caused the bear volume movement to the downside, which technically happened after the news release. So technically this can be identified as a 15-minute supply. And above this 15-minute supply, this 5-minute supply, I could identify another 5-minute supply that has caused the breakout structure directly, as you can see. And above this 5-minute supply, I had the 15-minute supply that has initiated the structure breaking movement right here. So after this bearish push, after this bearish movement, I was really looking for confirmation entry on the last recent supply, or on the higher supply area, or on the 50-minute supply that has caused the last recent breakout structure. If neither of these scenarios happened, then I would look for longs up to the next supply area. And technically these were the plans for me in this session. And as you can see, a really nice short opportunity has showed up, but personally I have closed it manually, and I will explain the reason why. But to be honest, the reason, it wasn't really a reason. It was just my emotions that has convinced me to close this position in break even. But as you can see, it would hit my original TP level, which was the previous low point, as you can see, for 10.4 risk reward ratio. And yeah, let's count the criteria first. What has happened right here? Well, before the real movement happened, technically price has changed character at this point, but there were an issue with this change of character, and there was an issue with this possible entry opportunity, with this entry zone. This was a literally perfect type 3 sell trap. So there was literally perfect double tops created just at the top of the higher time frame supply area. And after the change of character, price has trapped some sellers on this supply area. This supply has been swept. As you can see, there was the reaction. So there were orders on this supply area. After the price has swept all of this liquidity into the higher 15-minute supply. And I believe on the 15-minute time frame, 15-minute candle closed inside of that 15-minute supply too. As you can see, yeah, technically this was a 15-minute supply, and the 15-minute candle has closed inside of it. So technically the liquidity has been swept into this 15-minute supply, and we could count the 50% mitigation based on this liquidity sweeping movement. However, I did not count the 50% mitigation. I counted the 50% based on this higher 5-minute supply zone mitigation. And even though it did not mitigate the 50% of this higher 5-minute area, I did open a short position on this extreme entry POI because it had combined liquidation, as you can see. So yeah, let's count the criteria. What were the criteria for this entry opportunity? First one, higher time frame zone mitigation. Second one, liquidity take. There was the liquidity for the higher time frame area. Third one, inefficiency. Fourth one, pro trend. Technically, based on the 4 and 15-minute time frame, we were in a pro order flow definitely, so we could count the pro trend criteria. Fifth one, change of character. This was the last recent 1-minute demand that has caused the breakout structure at this point, and also price has made a structural change of character. As you can see, price is weak below the structural low point, which has initiated this whole structure breaking movement to the upside. So this was my fifth criteria. Sixth one was the perfect V-shaped recovery. This is just a literal perfect V-shaped recovery. Seventh one would have been the 50%, but the 50% mitigation did not happen for me, so I did not count it. Seventh one was the liquidity target. Technically, there was liquidity that I could count as liquidity target, and technically this whole movement wasn't the strongest movement to the upside, so we could count this one as liquidity target for the future shorts. So this was my 7 criteria. At this point, price wasn't coming from any opposite sided zone, so this is our 8th criteria. This was my 8th criteria. 9th one is the combined liquidation, and also I had another criteria, which is the corrective pullbacks from pro movements. If you take a look on the movements, we can clearly identify that the bearish movements were stronger and more inefficient than the bullish ones. So we could count the corrective pullbacks from pro movement criteria. And as you can see, after these criterias, I have decided to enter on this entry POI right here. And price was hesitating at first. And after this hesitation, sorry, let me delete these numbers from here. So I had 10 criteria for this entry opportunity. Just bear with me. Sorry for that. All right. Let me adjust this position right here. Okay. So after the small hesitation, as you can see right here, price has mitigated the full zone, created some liquidity here, but to be honest, this liquidity has been created here for the future long movement. It wouldn't be necessary for the price to sweep this liquidity. However, I have closed my position somewhere around here when price returned back to my entry POI once again. So after a small amount of hesitation inside of my around at the entry POI, and after this reversal where price created double tops liquidity right here, I decided to close my position manually in break even at this point. And as you can see, after I have closed my position, price has started to do its job, and actually it would hit my original break even line. So I wanted to see the failure of this low point in order to put my stop loss into break even. But after this hesitation around my entry POI, I decided to close it manually right here. However, even though it was literally perfect entry opportunity, there was liquidity take. Price has also swept some early sellers. There was even combined liquidation for the entry POI. So it was a literally perfect textbook entry opportunity. And yeah, my emotions has convinced me to close my position manually right here. But as you can see, after I have closed my position, price has started to do its job. And also I would have taken some partials around the 50% of the whole position. Somewhere around here, I would close 50% of my position. And as you can see, it would hit my original TP for 10.4 risk reward ratio. I was targeting the previous 15-minute low point. And yeah, unfortunately, it was a break-even trade for me, but it would have been a pretty nice 10.4 risk reward ratio entry opportunity position. Yeah, it happens sometimes, and this was another perfect example for me that I have to work on my psychology. I have to maintain the emotionless trading in the future. So yeah, this is just another perfect example for me, which was a perfect confirmation for me. So yeah, but to be honest, on the other side, I'm also grateful because the expectation order flow, expectational scenario has happened perfectly that I was expecting before the session. So it's a double-sided knife, but it's perfectly fine. It's part of the trading. These mistakes that I have made right here also, these mistakes are inevitable in order to become better, in order to be better. So yeah, that's perfectly fine. Let me stop the recording, and I'm doing another recap about the trade that I took on GU yesterday. So see you in the next recap.